don't do this to me. Okay, cool. We are live. Listen, feeling good is not the point. I'm going to say that again. Feeling good is not the point. If we had to feel like doing something before we did it, we wouldn't do anything. Or we would do all of the things that were wrong for us. I was having a little mini panic attack this morning, and I felt my chest tightening up and all of these feelings happening, and I was like, I haven't even done anything today. I just woke up and sat and thought about all of the possibilities and things to do and things that need to be done, and the fact that I haven't made a schedule or done anything in 5 weeks. And just those thoughts had me feeling like I was standing in front of a lion who was about to eat me. My brain did that. Feeling good isn't the point. It doesn't matter what I feel. I got to do. And what I do has to come from who I be. And who I be has to come from whose I am. And then once all that is in alignment, I got to speak it. And that's why we're here today. Any room you walk into, you will command it if you know how to command your emotions, your mind, your heart, your mouth. I'm so grateful that we're just here going live, and we are about to bless some lives. People that tune in are going to see this and they're going to be transformed. Feeling good isn't the point. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
Feelings come and go. They are, the fuel, I'd say the soul energy that we have behind, all the thoughts that we think, our beliefs that we have. When you sit and think of a memory, you have a feeling that's usually associated with it, whether it be good or bad, but it can affect you. It can definitely affect you for for that initial period, and it can even linger, especially if it's like really good or really bad. But that's not the point. Just as you stated, we have to take action. Every single day we have to take action. And sometimes a slight shift in our day, a slight mini conversation, or just an interaction with the right person sent along in the right way can just change everything, change how you feel. And even instead of, pulling away from what you have to do, it can actually propel you towards it. That's kind of like what transpired this morning. This wasn't the greatest of mornings for myself, but I remembered I'd heard Deion Sanders say, he's like, man, I never have a bad day. I may have a bad moment, but never a bad day. If I woke up in the morning, then it's already a good day. And I kind of take it to heart. This day may come with, several bad moments, but I know I've made a post before, like a roller coaster. Life is like that, man. You got ups and downs, but how you bounce back is, what matters. And so when I heard, we're just being real, we're talking about, when I heard what you were dealing with this morning, I shared the same thing. And then I said, so I got a wonderful idea from a tactic that I used as like a mood changer that I have in voiceover. On our phones, if you have like an iPhone or your Android, I don't know what to tell you. If you have an iPhone, you have
if you have an Android, get an iPhone.
Right, exactly. There you go. Apple is sending me some commission on that. But yeah, there's this option, for your chat that you can turn yourself into an emoji. Everybody loves emojis, man. I remember when I first saw them, I thought they were ridiculous, but now we use them in everyday life. And you can actually take your personage and put it into an emoji. And I remember that one of the practices we had, like for animation, like practicing doing voiceover for animation, was to do that. And when you have that option on your phone, you can choose from like several animals, fictional characters, but you can also present yourself. And one thing I did is I just began to speak positively, completely adverse from the way I've been feeling in the morning as I was doing that emoji recording. And my personality came out. And I'm telling you, whatever feeling of negativity or unproductiveness or whatever the slump was, it passed away so seamlessly. It didn't even make sense. So I said, you know what? I'm going to send this to the group. I'm going to send this to the group. I'm going to see exactly what happened. And it caught fire. Like, again, all of us were doing it. And I believe it lifted our spirits. And, that's just one of the simple tactics we have, man, because, it's difficult to deal with difficult situations. It's kind of common sense. But how we deal with it, how fast we rebound really can have a lasting effect on how we are for the rest of the day. Don't let something that happens bad in the morning or bad even in the evening. Don't take that to bed, and don't take that throughout the day. Don't do either one.
Yeah.
Find something that brings you joy. Find something that can drastically change your mood, whatever it may be. It's different for everybody. But once you do that and you start to feel yourself changing, moving from the negative to the positive, follow that flow, because that's where you want to be.
Mm. So what I'm hearing is do things that serve you at the highest level and make you feel good, at least when you're having a slump, so that you can show up at the highest level for the people you were meant to show up for.
There you go.
Because like we were talking about this the other day, we've been beat up on for playing video games, and now people are literally streaming video games with headphones on, getting paid to do it
for hours.
For hours. Something that lights us up. Like, you know, there was a time where you had to get a record deal to make music, and now you can have all the equipment, make the music, and put it out yourself. You can get the distribution yourself. You can get the airtime yourself. You don't need, the middleman is gone.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we have to reprogram ourselves to know that, like, not only have we always been in control, but now there's proof that we're in control of whatever it is we want to do with our lives, whatever it is that we can think of or imagine to do to serve someone, to solve someone's problem. We can do that. Like, we don't need someone's permission. We don't need, like, the middleman is literally gone.
Yeah.
At any moment we decide to do
something. Gregory, is Gregory cutting off to you guys? Are you guys cutting off like to each other, or is it just to me?
I think you're cutting off.
Yeah, I see. There's maybe like a slight lag on your side, Darling. It's not consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's every now and then.
Okay, continue. Sorry, Greg.
It's okay. Is your Wi-Fi on? I know I have to ask this because Brad, the other day, we had to ask him if his Wi-Fi was on, and he forgot he turned it off.
Yeah, it was on my phone.
It's on because I'm on the computer. I'm on the computer and the Wi-Fi is on.
Do you have 1,000 tabs open? Close some tabs.
Am I cutting off?
Close some tabs. Close out of everything but StreamYard. Yeah, no. Close out of everything else besides StreamYard.
Yeah, everything is closed. Everything is closed.
Okay.
Only StreamYard.
Well, what's your thoughts on this, Darlin?
Earlier.
I think she's got something. I think Darlin's got something powerful to say because the devil's trying to silence her right now.
Yeah.
Should I get out and come back in?
I don't know. Sherry says, Darlin, you're cutting off, but we're clear. Then that's to the viewer.
Okay, so
Sherry.
Should I get out and come back in?
I don't think that'll help. You're clear now. I think it just might be one of those things where he knows you have something to say.
Whether she's going to handle it.
I don't know. I'm still cutting off?
You're in and out.
In and out, yeah.
She's like, I'm going to go where the Wi-Fi is.
Am I still cutting off? Is it better?
You're better. It's in and out. You're freezing, coming in and out, but
should I go in the phone? Should I go in the phone?
I don't think so. I think you should just tell us what you're feeling right now and how you're still going regardless of how you feel. Because this is a perfect example,
no, I'm solution mode.
Right? We're getting to see it in real time. She's like, solution mode. I'm gonna jump out and jump back in. See,
let me ask you a question while she does this, man. Like, how many people have found themselves in board meetings, maybe at work? I'm talking about outside of any social media, and something like this has happened. I think it's even more stressful there. Like when you're at work and your equipment doesn't work right, your internet's jacking up, or there's some technical difficulty that you've never encountered before that just wants to pop up on that day. It's like, oh, your stress level like goes through the roof. I remember that happened one time I was teaching a class. So what I ended up having to do was just teach from the book. I had a book with pictures in it, but instead of having like what I had in the book on a screen, I just taught from the book, and it went well. You got to adjust, man. You got to be able to adapt.
Close it.
Hey,
how am I
now? You're good now. We were just talking about, like, this is a perfect example. This is streaming on LinkedIn. There's people on LinkedIn that are probably going to see this or that are watching right now. And that it's mortifying when your internet goes out or something freezes or things aren't going as planned. But the beauty of it is to be able to improv and make it a part of whatever you're doing, right?
There you go.
Or make fun of it. Self-deprecation, fastest way to get the crowd
behind
happy,
you,
right? Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, we can make fun of you as long as you don't make fun of us.
It's like,
and that's okay too.
It's like when you take a fall, man. I know whatever
I'm
taking a fall.
Trying to go in from the phone. Okay, are you still, because what's happening is that you guys are cutting off for me, and I'm cutting off for you guys or for the rest of the people.
See,
but I coached meeting this morning and it worked perfectly.
Everything was fine this morning.
Do you have any other applications open?
No, everything is closed. You guys keep on talking while I try to fix it, I guess.
No problem.
Okay. Brad, you had something you were saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like you mentioned, you know, self-deprecation. Like right there, you know, when a mistake is made, you made a mistake, just acknowledge it. Be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if this talk, I see how it's framing up right now, we may have had like something in our mind on like how, what topic we're going to talk about. But I mean, shoot, we can talk about overcoming like the sudden things that happen that we don't know how to deal with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yesterday I was officiating a service. You know, to be quite honest, it was a service I'd never officiated before. I've never officiated any service before, but it was a celebration of life service for those of you getting my gist. And I was asked by the family to do so. And upon, you know, the request initially, I didn't know what to do. I had never done it before, but the weight of the honor that they would ask me to officiate it was just profound. So in my mind, I made up in my mind. I was like, I'm going to do the best I can possibly do to serve these people in their time of mourning, their time of grieving. And that's exactly what I did. Now, did the program go exactly as it was printed in the program? No, it did not. There were adjustments. There were people who wanted to get up and share acknowledgments and speak on certain subjects in regards to, you know, the service, in regards to the person who was, you know, deceased. And when that happened, got to go with the flow of the program. Got to go with the flow of the program. Whatever happens, let it happen and just move past it. You know, it's not as far as it like, you know, making it an issue, but it's like, okay, this happened. Let's see what else happens and adjust. And I think that's really what I was brought in for, was just to make sure that the program flowed smoothly, because you never know. You would never know, especially in a situation like that. And I say all that to say, think about the things that you have planned for just today. Don't even worry about tomorrow. We're only supposed to think about today anyway. Have yourself in such an alignment, in such, I guess, a mindset of, you know, no matter what today throws at me, I'm going to get past it. Maybe a bad moment. Better yet, think about all the possible good moments that could happen today. Only you know your agenda. Only you know what's going to transpire between now and the time you go to bed. Having that mindset of no matter what transpires today, I'm going to remain in this good mood, keeping your vibration high. That is a strong, strong characteristic and power that we all have. Certainly is.
Amen.
It doesn't matter what happens. Everything can happen outside of you or externally, but I swear, everything that happens internally is strictly up to you. Nobody else can change that except you.
And something that made me think of is we work so hard to do things the way we think they should be done, or because someone taught us to do it this way, we think that's the way. And what that does is every one of those things that's placed on us, every one of those expectations, every one of those rules, every one of those traditions that is placed on us takes away from who we were meant to be and who we are. And from the people I've met, there's this long, I was talking with my cousin Phyllis the other day, and there's this long path to get back to who you were in the first place when you were a kid, when you were told not to do the things you were doing and that you were too much. But like in your 50s, you go away from, like, you finally stop caring about what other people think. And at 60, the filter comes off. 40, the light bulb comes on. 35 is like when you first start realizing who you are. And it's probably because you have to take 12 years to unlearn what you learned the first 12 years, right? Or the first 12 years of school. But I said all that to say, you have to be who you are and do what works for you, right? Like, just because you've watched, and this is insidious. There is so much information out there that if you're not careful about what you're intaking, you can be overloaded and confused real quick, because there's conflicting information. And depending on what you like, the algorithm is going to push more of what you already like and what you already like watch. And so it's just going to push similar stuff to you. And so the similar, you never get to see the other side unless you consciously look for it, right? But it can start to paralyze you. And that's what happened this morning. Like, there's so much information, so many things, so many possibilities now, right? And because there's so many possibilities, it's like, well, I could do this, and this. I should have done this, and this. I'm behind on this, and this. And all those things just kind of come together for this, but I'm not doing anything.
Like a perfect storm.
And you have to be who you are. It's like, I was talking with Tommy earlier, and he's finally watched Myron Golden. He's like, I like him. I really like Myron. He said, I watched 2 hours of his content. I see why you like him. And I was like, yeah, he's smart. He's like, you should be him. And he caught himself, because I know what he meant.
Right.
He's like, maybe you should just do what he does, is the gist of it. Do what he does your way and have people follow. Oh, that's what brought it up was, I don't know how I'm going to afford the next year with him, but I'm going to make it happen. And if I don't, he said, you could just be him. I know what he meant by you could just be him. Like, just do what he does. Do the same thing. Just live your life, turn on the camera, teach people, and do it your way. Right. And we had that conversation right before this. And I'm waiting on it. He said he's going to ask us some tough questions. I'm waiting on him to pop in.
Okay. Yeah. Can you guys hear me good now?
We can hear you perfect, and you're clear.
All right. Thank you.
Drop it in, girl. What's up?
We did it. Okay. So going back to the beginning about the feelings. What I was thinking as you were talking, or what triggered, was the memory of, we take feelings too seriously. Like we think feelings when they come, like when you said, I woke up in my chest and I had done nothing in the day and I'm already feeling this. What's going on? Okay. So that feeling you woke up with could have come from while you were dreaming, something stressful, something concerning, something fearful. And then now it's in your body. And when you wake up, you're feeling it, right? But feelings are not, they feel real, but they're not real. Okay, so what I mean, they're not real. For example, if I tell both of you, Greg and Brad, I got a call right now, and I was told that both of you just won $1 million. Like, both of you just won $1 million. How does that feel?
Why'd you do that to me? I was like, oh. It's not real. It feels real.
One thing I did notice, both of our eyebrows shot towards the sky, like immediately. I did catch that.
Like the emoji.
Exactly.
Okay, so I told you guys a lie, but it felt good. Didn't it feel good?
Oh, wow.
What if I told you guys, oh, wait, sorry. They called and they said that money is actually for this random person that you don't like. It's actually for that person. Sherry, yeah, she wants to.
Sherry said, include me. I
so
can't
sorry.
tell.
Okay, let me fix it. Brad and Greg, the money I listened wrong. It was for Sherry. Sorry. Now you guys are kind of happy for her, but is it the same happy?
No, it's
I'm
not
gonna.
the same happy.
Not the same, but we are happy for you, Sherry. Don't worry. But
I'm happy for her.
yeah, we're happy for her, but
Ooh.
it's not the same, right? So the feeling you guys had was made up. It was made up by what I said. And but it was a good feeling. So you can, let's say you get a call that says that someone you love, and I know this happened to Gregory, passed away, and then you're feeling sad. And then they called you again and said, no, they're in the hospital and they're going to get better. It was someone else that passed away. Then what happens to the feeling?
I mean, that's what we hope for when we hear that news, right? But
Yeah.
It was quick, but the first call is the person passed away. You start feeling sad. You feel low. You're like, I can't believe it. And then you get another call and says, oh, we made a mistake. It was someone else. Then you feel relief.
Relief. Yeah, it's relief. Wow.
But the first feeling was very real, right? Like it felt really real.
Yeah.
But it was based on a lie.
Yeah.
So the feeling was based on a lie, but it was a real feeling. So I think when we have feelings, I know. When we have feelings, we take them so serious that we start sitting with the feeling and letting the feeling feel us.
I just got real meta.
I thought she said like defeel us. That's what I thought she said.
Letting the feeling feel us.
Feel us. I got you.
We feel the feelings, and the feeling feels us, and we're all feely and touchy.
But not only feel us, but fill us. FILL.
Whoa. Whoa. You know, that reminds me of a quote, darling. Feelings are like children. You don't want to let them drive the car, but you also don't want to lock them in the trunk. Sometimes you just got to let them sit in the back seat and be kids.
My next thought was, okay, you don't take them seriously to the point of letting them drive the car, like you said, but you don't want to lock them up in the room, right? So what do? You let them process, because they're like kids in the sense that they're kind of wild, you know. But when we feel the feeling, hasn't it happened that you have the feeling and then you sit and you breathe deeply and you breathe and you continue to breathe and then it just dissipates and then it just goes away?
Man,
that's the space that the feeling needs. It's not just like agreeing with it and then, you know, letting it linger and visit with you, you know. No, it's okay. You're here. Okay, let me focus on you. Let me give you the space you need. What is the space? If it's a bad feeling. And not to try to push it out, but just to be with it and let it process and let it come out. What happens is most of the feelings we feel today, they are just pieces of the past that are coming to the present. So some of the like a lot of the tears we cry today, they're not for today. They are tears from a time that we didn't cry when we needed to. Because we bottled it up. Huh?
I say you better preach.
Yeah.
We bottled it up. So like it's gonna be like, oh, I'm still here, you know?
You never gave that space it needed to process.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one, is not taking them so seriously. Two is breathing deeply for a while, not trying to push it out, just letting it. And you'll see, like I've done it with other people, like, and they're crying super sad. And then after like 6, 7, 8 minutes of breathing, then they're smiling. Like, where did the sadness go? It went out.
Yeah.
It evaporated.
Or you draw, or you get outside and move your body, or you play.
Yeah.
That is the interrupting that Brad was talking about. Interrupting. Because you can interrupt it. Look, didn't I interrupt your feelings? I told you won $1 million. And I told you no, it was Sherry's.
Eyebrows shot up. Eyebrows went back down.
Yeah. So anything that interrupts you. Listen, I've had people call me. I've had 2 people call me that they wanted to just not live anymore.
Oh, wow.
And I was super far. So what did I say? I said, I need you to get all the ice you have in your freezer. I need you to put it in a bucket, and I need you to fill it with water and pour it on your face, and then call me back.
You made him do the ice bucket challenge?
Total interruption. That cold water just snaps you out of that funk, that space that you're in. And now you're interrupted. You're confused. You're like, okay, what was I feeling earlier? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying that that's the solution every time, but it's just something to interrupt you. Haven't you seen somebody crying and you just take a spray bottle and you spray them on the face? If you have rapport with the person, if they know you love them, okay?
Yeah. Right. Don't do that. Yeah.
The image in my mind right now.
Who did you do it to in your mind?
It's like you. I'm just picturing Darlin's crying, and I just treat her like a cat and just.
Yeah, the problem is that technology is not like we can't do that through the computer yet, so you can't do it. But just anything to interrupt. Yeah. Listen, I've done putting circus music.
Circus music. Wow.
You have somebody while Greg is laughing. You have somebody going to a memory that makes them really, really sad. And while they're in that memory, you turn on circus music, they're gonna be like
what in the world are you doing? What are you doing? Right.
They're gonna be that doesn't go with this.
That's good.
I'm great at interrupting. Like, that's who I've always been. Sherry said. She said, "Don't do that to me."
You're safe, Sherry.
I'm sorry.
But you see, I want anybody watching this or anybody who's going to watch this to really tap into like what is happening, because for the uncertain chance that the right person needs to see this here on today, this video, all of this is for you, because the individuals who are on this call right now were experiencing that before the camera went on. Look how fast things change. We haven't been on here but 30 minutes.
And we're over here.
And everything is shifted. We got interrupted. We got an opportunity to let whatever emotion that we had, let it free, let it fly. It evaporated just as Darlin spoke of. And now we're ready for the next challenge of the day. Matter of fact, we're looking forward to it. Because once you gain some momentum, I cannot tell you about the power of momentum and how wonderful that's like a real thing. And essentially what we are talking about, what Darlin is explaining to you, is how to get your vibration back up to where it needs to be. Because when you feel those thoughts, when you're feeling that downness, you can like feel it physically almost. Have you guys felt it physically, like on your chest, on your face?
Oh yeah.
Something happens, you just sink, and you can feel it internally. Let me tell you what that feeling is. That is your vibration lowering. And we know there are so many cliche things out there right now as far as vibration is concerned. But if you take it down to the molecular level, that's exactly what is happening with us. All of our molecules are vibrating. And what we put out there has the power to either repel or attract. And as long as you keep low vibration, or you want to sit with that negative feeling, you have better chances or more chances for more of that to come your way. That's why the interrupt is so necessary. You need something to snap you out of it. Because now that you got that reboot, or you have the opportunity to reboot, you can get back to where you need to be. Because nobody wants to sit in that feeling or be like that forever, because that can lead to the type of mindset to where you don't want to live anymore. Darlin, I think it's not ironic that you mentioned that, because I spoke to somebody who was having very, very dark thoughts the same type of way. And we prayed. But in my heart, I was like, there has to be something there to snap him out of it. And I wish I had had this conversation prior to that one, because it caught me off guard. And then after I had spoken to this person and even tried to help them, I kind of like took on a little bit of that as well, because I started having empathy for him. And when you start to have empathy, you can take on that feeling. You can remove a little bit of that load that's on them. And people appreciate it. They know and they love you for that. But you got to be able to manage that yourself also, because you don't want that to become contagious and then weigh you down. So it's good to have these practices, like you can call them forth, you can like do them exactly when you need to do them. It's very important.
Exactly. So before we get to, I see Tommy's question.
Yeah, he said he was going to ask us a tough question. I know he's been marinating on this the whole time we've been here. And he just asked the most powerful question. Is money more powerful than God? We're going to dive into that. We're going to go deep.
So before we answer Tommy's question from our points of views, so I just wanted to finish 2 more points about the feelings.
Yeah.
So number one, including everything that you guys said, is number one is not taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking the feeling seriously to think, oh, now I need to, give homage to you because you're here. No. Number two, realize that it needs to pass through you, and you didn't let it pass through you in the past. So now it's a moment, it's an opportunity for you to breathe through it so that it can actually evaporate. 3, if it's a very bad feeling, you need to interrupt it.
Yeah.
And you can do it yourself. Like if you're too deep in a funk, then just interrupt it. And then when it comes again, then try the breathing. But if it's a too negative feeling, then the best thing is to interrupt it. And then number 4, I think it is that beliefs have feelings of their own.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when you're feeling something that feels badly, it's because it is based on a lie. Because the lies are the ones that feel bad and the truth feel good. Like, for example, when you say, nobody loves me, that feels really sad. Nobody loves me. Nobody's calling me. Nobody cares about me. Then you feel really sad. But it's a belief, and it's not true.
Right.
But it feels true. Just like that you're going to get $1 million. So question your beliefs when they feel bad. Just question them because they're usually based on a lie. Truth makes you feel good. Lies make you feel bad. And I think it was that they have a feeling and they want to live off of you. So don't give them too much time. Just give them a little bit of time to breathe through it. And if you see that it's taking you too long, just interrupt it because they're going to take your life if you let them. Yeah. That was the last point.
Yeah. And you said this before, feelings or beliefs are living beings that don't want to die. They need energy, and you have to starve them of their favorite food. Just like fear's favorite thing to use is time. And you've got to shorten the time. This is what we were talking about last night in the Greater University. You have to shorten the amount of time between decision and action, or between learning and taking action, or learning and teaching. I love that we're addressing this though, because the world is literally operating on feelings right now. Like, I don't think anyone realizes that we are all crackheads now. Like 80s was the crack era where the only thing you could really be addicted to was crack or cocaine or alcohol, and there was not much else. But now everyone literally has an IV at all times in their hands that is dopamine drip. And everything caters to attention. Everything. The attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. And I don't know if you've ever tried this, but try not getting on your phone for 24 hours. Every time you think about picking up that phone, that's what the addict feels like when they can't get their fix. Congratulations. The entire world is addicts. And I say this, right? We're not addicts. We just build habits really fast, and we are creatures of homeostasis. So we like habit. Habit is part of the reason why we survive so long, is because we have to automate things in order for them to not take up all of our brain power. But I think we were all born not addicted. I don't think addiction is the thing. We were meant to, I like that. We were meant to depend on something greater than ourselves. And there's a God-sized hole that we are born with. And it's probably like this small when we start. And anything we put in that God-sized hole as we get older that isn't God just makes it bigger and makes a bigger need for God, which is why some of the most powerful preachers have had some of the darkest past, have had some of the worst things that they've done. Or like in 12-step programs, some of the greatest people in those programs that do the most good are the ones with the darkest of past, because they've created such a hole searching for everything outside of themselves to fill themselves except God. And then when they put God in that hole, they can't get enough of it, right? That's probably my problem, right? It's not a problem. That's probably that's probably what happened to me. Is like I tried to fill that hole with everything but God, and so when I found God, it was like I can't get enough of him. This is incredible, and now my story doesn't make sense without him. So I said all that to say, what did I say all that to say? There was a segue here. Feeling good isn't the point.
You're starting with so many options, so many things pulling our attention, addiction, that we are addicted to that now. And
the Tommy says our attention has been monetized. It has. And let's go back to that question, because I really want to touch this, because it's a real thing, right? Is money more powerful than God? Well, in the name of making money, over the years, we've started to remove God from everything. Mm-hmm. Schools, churches, or I didn't mean to say that, but when the church is doing things to entertain before it's feeding its people, maybe they have removed God, because that's probably not what he wants. But that's an opinion. I could be wrong. I don't go to many churches often, but separating him and like God becomes the afterthought. I'll pray after I get everything together. I'll come to church when I'm ready and everything's in order. But right now I got to get this money. Everything is about money over everything, right? Like, is money more powerful than God? Well, that really depends on who you serve, and you can't serve two masters, right? You love one and hate the other. Like, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do well, there's two ways. There's two ways to see what's most important to you. You can check your bank account and you can check your calendar, right? We can say with our words that this thing is important to us, but when we check our bank account and we see all these transactions in places that are either distracting us or not serving the thing we said we wanted to do, is it real? Does our schedule, does what we do with our time reflect what we say we want, or who we say we love, or what we say we want to do? I saw a quote, I think it was on Instagram. If I followed you around for a day, would I believe you were serious about your goals?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I want to say something about, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Mm-hmm. The Bible says, where your treasure is, there will your. I'm having something with English today, guys. I don't speak Spanish. Okay,
say it in Spanish. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Okay, so what are our treasures? Our treasures are our time and our money. Those are our treasures. So where you put your time, there your heart will be. Where you put your money, there your heart will be. And going back to the phone, connecting it with this God more powerful, we can change the word powerful to important. Is God more important than money? Is money more important than God? Anything that takes the place of God is idolatry. And what's wrong with idolatry? That we become like that which we honor and worship. We become like the thing that we are dedicating our attention to first.
Wow.
And upmost. So whatever is taking more of your attention is building the building blocks of who you are. So if our attention is going to random things that random people post, then that's how we're going to be, random. And if our money is going to things that are not very, like, really valuable, then that our life is going to be not very valuable.
Wow.
The Bible doesn't kid around. The Bible says, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. When they were building the temple, what did they say? Bring everything, all your gold, to build the house for God, right? So you say, how can we find out what we're making more important? Look at the bank account, follow the person around, look at the money, look at the time. But when you wake up, I put a post the other day saying, whatever you connect to first when you wake up, that is what you're making your source.
Mm.
If you connect to people, you're making people your source. And you're making people the source of your value.
Wow.
If you connect to other people's valuable information, then you are saying that what they have is more valuable than what you have to give to the world. And if we connect to God, it's because we understand I come from God, and this thing needs to be connected to the power so it can have power. Right? I wouldn't let this go 2 days without charging it. So if I understand that my power comes from God, don't I need to be charged? Don't I need to connect myself and get the charge?
Yeah.
But no, we have the source of power, right? Let's say the electricity in the house, but we choose an external portable charger, and we say to the house electricity, I don't need you. Electricity of the house, I don't need you. I have this. Well, this runs out too.
Wow. Wow.
So there's nothing more powerful than the life giver, but we are sold a lie that the car is more powerful, the watch is more powerful, the purse is more powerful, the relationship is more powerful, the titles are more powerful, anything else. The creation, but the creator.
God is source and everything else is resource. Money is absolutely not more powerful or important than God. And the fact that we could just print money and there's nothing backing it, if they just decided tomorrow money was worthless, there'd be cash in the street and there'd be war, right? Sherry, yeah, we got to give you your flowers. She said, that's good, darling. We must connect ourselves to the ultimate power source. Absolutely. And
that's not to let us assume, thank you, Sherry, not to let us assume that because God is more powerful than money, that doesn't mean that money is not important. Right? Because God is more powerful than me, but that doesn't mean I'm not important. It's just you need to put me in my place. And you need to put God in his place. So money is important. Very important. The word in Hebrew, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but the word in Hebrew for money, have I ever mentioned this to you guys?
I don't think so.
The same word for money in Hebrew is written the same way as blood.
I knew this. Oh my, okay. Yes. No. That, you see the light bulb go off?
Yes. So the message, God, in every word in Hebrew, when two words in Hebrew are written the same way, they're giving us a message. For example, the word for employee is the same word as drunkard.
What?
Yes. So what it's meaning is a drunkard needs people to take him around. It's not in control of himself or herself, right?
Wow.
When you are an employee, you have to ask permission. And the Bible recommends for us to work for others for a time, but not for life. But that's another topic for another day. But going back to blood and money.
Blood and money.
But not blood money.
No. Blood and money. So is blood important?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And blood has to be flowing, has to be abundant, needs to be healthy for life, right? What happens to a country when there is very crooked people in the government, aka, can I say it? My country, when there's very crooked people in the government, what happens to the country because the money's not flowing properly? Poverty, crime, crimen iba a decir, I was gonna say crime, suffering, like a bunch of stuff, bad stuff happens when money's not flowing properly. Why? Because some people are hoarding, some people are not educating. Like it's supposed to flow.
Mm.
Money is supposed to flow, and money is very important. Money it's part of life, but the source of money is God. And if we forget the source, then we're confused.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, to seek his face, not his hand. Seek the face, the hand will open. Seek the hand will close. Like, but you're not gonna spend time with me? I mean, think about hey Francine, think about the way we spend time with God, right? If God were a person that you had a relationship with here on earth, would your relationship with him be healthy? Like, do you just talk to one person like in a general manner? Like when you do that stale prayer that you always do, right? Are you just talking to him on Sunday and then doing everything that he told you not to do every day in between? Do you only come to them when you need something?
Genie.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say something about that. Brad, you were going to say something?
No, I was just commenting. We treat him like a genie. One thing that the question, evoked in my mind was kind of like, of course, logically, we know that God is more powerful than money because he created everything that is, or if you believe that he does, then he must have created wealth. And before money was even being printed, there was wealth, there was abundance. And so it is not more powerful than God, but we treat it as such. We believe it to be as such. We worship it as such. We, like you said, devote our time and attention to acquiring it. Whereas, I kind of view it kind of like initial gratification versus delayed gratification. Because I know if I had a stack of money in front of me right now, I know what I can go out and buy with it. But let's say I had a stack of God right in front of me. What could I do with it?
Oh, man.
Nobody thinks like that.
Wow.
When in absolution, if I stay here and I craft a relationship and get to know this stack of God rather than this stack of money, the possibilities with this are endless. The possibilities of this, they run out. Because once this stack is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's spent. But if I'm with a source, when I'm with the creator, anything's possible. I may be able to get more of this stack just by spending more time with this stack. And when I think about that, it's profound in the fulfillment that money can buy. We've heard so many people say it. I think it was an interview that I heard Jim Carrey say. He said, I wish everybody in the world could get rich, make obscene amounts of money, become extremely famous, just so they can all see that that's not it. Like when he said that, I think Will Smith has said something similar also in one of his many interviews. It's like, it's not it. So if there are the same level of problems and anxieties when you have all the money in the world versus when you probably don't have a lot of it, then what is missing? And it harkens back to what Greg mentioned about that void that we have, that we create. Another thing that came to mind, Greg, I didn't get a chance to mention it when you said a lot of those people who are, coaches and ministers, they have those dark pasts. The scripture also says a verse I like. It's like, he who has been forgiven much loves much. So all the time, all the mistakes you think you've made to waste this, that, and the third, God doesn't look at you and condemn you about it. His word says he doesn't. And the reason why he can say that he doesn't is because he's already paid the price for all those mistakes. But if you don't believe that, we go back to the power of belief.
Yeah.
Then how much more time are you going to waste chasing the wrong stack? So it's an objective question. Is money more powerful than God? Logically, no. But in reality, depends on who you are, what you worship.
Yeah. and how you've been trained, like how you've been conditioned. Because, you know, there's different sayings in different cultures and different families and different neighborhoods. And anything we do, we are the sum of what we do repeatedly, whatever that is. I used to think I was an addict. And then I realized the cure to addiction is connection. And it just depends on what you're connected to. In the wrong environment, I can be connected to the wrong thoughts, the wrong words, and the wrong ideas, the wrong feelings, and become that. But that same person, you take them and put them in a different room, and you build them up with different thoughts, emotions, words, and just a different environment, and watch them change completely. So
I wanted to say something about that.
Yeah.
Please.
When you're done.
Oh, I don't know where
We're
I was
ready.
going. I was
We're ready.
Okay. So if it comes back, let us know. So we become what we contemplate. We become what we look at. That's why the Bible says, somewhere in Psalm, it says, like, don't put anything evil in front of your eyes. You know, and guard the avenues of the soul. Eyes and ears, right? What you touch, just guard it, because out of your heart comes the issues of life. Out of your heart, out of your mind, or your subconscious mind will come the kind of life you're going to have, which is what you're talking about. So instead of, I just wanted to, that when you said we are what we surround ourselves with and all of that. So in English, the word to be, the verb to be only has, it's just that verb. But in Spanish, we have ser y estar. So we have two. For that one in English, we have two in Spanish. In Hebrew, I'm sure they had more.
Right.
Which gives you more about the story. Why is this important? Because when we use the word to be or I am, it can create confusion because you can think it's your identity.
Right.
But in Spanish, we have two. We have ser and estar. Ser is more identity, and estar is more a temporary state.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are things we are as a temporary state, and there's things we are, which is identity. For example, I am a woman. This is not a temporary state. I am a woman, right? In English, that's how it is. In Spanish, that's how it is. Soy una mujer. I'm hungry. I am hungry. It's a temporary thing. I won't always be hungry, right? After I eat, I won't be hungry anymore. But we say, I am hungry. I am a woman. I am hungry. Are they both identity?
No.
One's a temporary.
I'm just going to start saying, estar hungry.
Estoy
hungry.
Estoy hambriento o tengo hambre. So in Spanish, this is how we say. We say, I have hunger.
Yeah, I have hunger.
I have hunger. Right now, I have hunger, so I'm going to eat so I can stop having hunger. But when we say I am something, like I am slow, we think that's who I am. It's part of me.
Wow.
It was a big shift when I heard that too, because I didn't really understand the difference between the two until I heard you say that. And it's amazing. I've had many people try to help me with Spanish. They never mention that subtle nuance. It's a state that's temporary versus actually being something, like something inherent. And
exactly. Sorry, Brad, but we don't only do it in English, because in Spanish, people say, soy una doctora. I am a doctor. No, you're not. You're not a doctor.
Wow.
You practice medicine.
Oof. It's not who you be, it's what you do.
Not to step on anybody's feet, but you are way more than a doctor, girl. You're way more than a doctor, boy. You are a piece of God. You're an extension of God. We're so much higher. And that's why the first commandment says, have no other God before me. Because then you're going to worship that, and you're going to think you're that. And when that is not as good, as cool, as popular, then you're going to feel less than.
Yeah.
There's nothing better to worship than God. Nothing.
Amen. And when you tie your identity to something that's limited, you become limited. Why tie your identity to anything that will limit you? That's probably why I've had the problem for the last couple. Like when I started my podcast, when I started this whole thing of showing up online and being on camera, I didn't have a plan. But as soon as someone said, "Okay, what's the goal? Well, how are you going to monetize that?" Then it was like I ate the from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and I realized I was naked and didn't know anything, and it made me feel insecure and made me feel all these types of things, uncertainty, imposter syndrome, and it's like, why do I have to have some kind of plan? What if God just told me to build an ark, right? And it's not going to rain for 40 years, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to build this ark and I'm going to call 2 animals, right? Like, what if that's, I don't have to explain what my calling is. If my calling is to encourage people and that's not monetizable or business enough for you, I'm sorry. I don't have to explain my calling to you. Who I am, what I do best, what I know is changing people's lives. The fact that people can come into my presence and leave better than they were and do things they've never done before, that's enough. I don't have to figure out how to monetize that. God's going to pay me. I'm sorry. I'm a little passionate about that because I've wasted 5 years. I say wasted. I've spent the last 5 years spinning my wheels, trying to figure out how to do something, and then to come back around to the fact that what I was doing in the first place was exactly what I took this long $80,000 journey for. To find out that I was already doing it, or that I was already on the right track. I just needed to keep showing up. So when someone tells you that you're not enough, or that you need to have some kind of identity that you tie yourself to, or some kind of niche, because you gotta, if you want to win the attention of people and you want to be famous and go viral, you have to do these things in this order. Okay. There are plenty of people that have not followed that order. There are people that are doing there's a guy I saw on YouTube. He just gets on and goes live and talks about his life in a trailer park and has hundreds of thousands of views. And he has no structure. He just gets on and talks, and people just watch it because they want real. People are so tired of fake. Everything is fake. Everything is fake.
A lot of things.
That's a belief too. That's a belief. That's why it's still consistent. People believe that it has to be structured and look like a certain type of way for you to get views. And people are tired of that now because they can tell when it's not authentic, man. They can tell when it's not authentic. Most people's lives are authentic. Like if I were to tell you, I threw on something just to come online. A lot of people have that same thing. We've seen the memes and where people go to business meetings and they professionally dressed all up here. Underneath, they got like the pajamas on or something like that. That's authentic. Just being able to come on camera and have a real conversation with people who are willing to be open and have one is a blessing in itself, especially tackling real issues that the 3 of us and so many more people are dealing with.
Yeah.
Who says there has to be a PhD on the wall behind me? All that guarantees the fact that I got a loan to pay back. Probably an expensive piece of paper that I spent about 4, 5, 6 years to get. And I'm not downplaying anybody. If you are a master in your craft, congratulations. But let that come from the passion. Let that come from the reason why you started it in the first place.
Right.
Because with that structure, with what Greg is talking about, that inauthenticity, people see all that and they can tell from your first few words. It's like, okay, they're just doing this to do it. But with what we are developing, what we have in progress right now, what we are looking to promote and help people with, they deal with something that every human being has. Every human being has a heart, they have a mind, and they have a mouth. And when all 3 of those things are synced up in alignment, you'll be amazed at the power one person can generate. Because, as it was stated several times in this broadcast, we're from a source that is all powerful. So there is a chance that at least you, a piece of that all powerfulness, have just a little bit of power. How do you get it out? How do you expose it? How do you serve it? Probably the best question.
Mm,
Don't force it.
mm.
Everybody here has probably spent at least some time forcing it. I was asked yesterday before I officiated that service, what are you doing now? Are you ministering? I always thought you were going to be in the pulpit. I was like, no, that never was impressed upon me. I knew how to give, but it was never to be served there. And the places I did find myself serving were very, very different from a church or iglesia, as we say in Spanish. But just being willing and knowing that anytime I have the opportunity to sit down and express the gift that I have of communication, somebody can benefit, is enough. And now I found 2 other people who do the same thing with the other different areas that we talked about in the body, the heart and the mind. And when we come together for conversations just as simple as this, we do not know how far the ripples go out from a stone that we cast into a quiet lake. We don't know. But it's making an impact.
And we will be
I wanted
here
to say
every
something.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll let you say it in a second. We're gonna show up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and talk about the issues that are going on.
Let's do it.
Do mind surgery, heart surgery, and mouth surgery. So if you want to drop something that you're dealing with in the chat for us to talk about.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah, questions. Like, we'll be doing it. We'll go live for an hour, but I do have to bounce here because I got another meeting at 12:30, but we'll let, as she said, I want in.
Real quick before Dolan speaks, if you do have a question and it's speaking to one of the specific areas that we mentioned, type that word in first, like mind, and then put your question, or heart, and then put your question, or mouth, and then put your question. Because we can even focus on that particular area for one of our lives, since we're going to be doing it so frequently during the week. That'll help us kind of focus in on that question that you have, especially if it's one that's unanimous or that is, very popular. So please do that. Go ahead, Dolan.
Sherry works with the body. I'm sorry. I just saw another vision. Okay, go ahead, Dolan.
Know that another benefit of worshiping God and putting him first in our lives is, I love the fact that when he did his work, he stopped and he said, this was good.
It was good.
He admired his own work. So when we spend time with him, when we worship him, when we put him first, we learn to admire our work and give value to our work and to give value to what we have for the world. And the more we value what we have, the more we'll want to share it and not hide.
That's so good. And that ties this pretty bow on this whole broadcast with gratitude. It is the key to unlock the door that could give you so much more than you could ever think, imagine, or ask for. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up because I got to head out. But I implore you, be bold and courageous. Do everything that you do with passion. And I promise you will have a life that you love. If you're wanting to be a part of the Command Room Challenge that we are putting together, DM us, any one of us. Drop it in the comments here if you're watching on the replay. We're gauging interest. People want to command rooms they walk into. People don't want to feel small. People are tired of shrinking. And that's what we're here to work on. It's for you to show up boldly, courageously, passionately, and love the life that you have. And be able to spend the time and money that you have with the people you love.
Agree.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all Friday.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.